Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited about today's video. Today we are in one of my favorite RVs. Again, my name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Frederick, Colorado. My number is 303-562-8659. That's my cell number. You can text me or call me at that number. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And as usual, I like to start my videos from the inside out. So Marlon, if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and take her on back. So today we're starting off with the slides closed. And the reason we're doing that is because we can in this RV. As I mentioned, this is one of my very favorite RVs. I started off in the automotive or the RV industry in a Renegade Verona. It was not a 40 VBH, it was a 36 VSB, but it was a really fantastic entry into the product line. And one of the reasons I wanted to start the video off from the inside out is because one of the best things about the Renegade is the walking space that you have in this coach, even when you are with the slides closed. The other reason I wanted to talk about this coach today is because a lot of times people have questions about what's changed when I'm looking at different model years. What are the differences? Is there a difference between a 25 and a 24, a 23 and a 24, a 21 and a 22? So I wanted to just kind of run through some of the differences that I think are, really important to consider. First and foremost, in this coach, we're looking at this Lakewood interior. So this is this beautiful kind of taupey gray, natural wood look. These are all solid maple cabinets. One of the most important things about the changes that you found in 2023 from 2022 were the move from the spiced brandy, which is more of a red wood, into this Lakewood color palette. Now the exterior colors didn't change until 2024, so you could still get the skyline if you wanted. So that really striking blue was a very popular color combination. They also had ingot, which is a really nice silver and black color combination. But I will tell you, in 2024 moving forward, Renegade has really stepped up their paint game and there's no additional charge for it. And I think that you'll find that they're much more current and contemporary. But if you prefer that redder wood or some of those more black and blue, black and red, black and gold, black and silver combinations, those traditional color combinations were still available in the exterior through 2023. So big change from 23 to 24 is going to be this wood. Another thing to talk about too is that you'll find out that when we went to this cabinet system, we'll find that we now have these overhead cabinets on either side of the bed. Initially in 2021 when we came out, we did not have this window set up with these two cabinets up on top. We did have the same storage areas, but having a place to put your cell phone, especially having now the USB and the Type-C and the two 110 outlets, this is very handy for anybody who's storing a device. Now, something that has remained consistent throughout the entire production of this coach from when I owned mine in 2020 through current 2025 model years is this little pad up here. So this is giving you the capacity to turn your lights on and off and operate a number of things within your coach. But one of the things I want to just point out to you is I just opened all of the slides for this coach on my phone. So I just used this slide control. So this Mira system and the Firefly system have been on this coach since 2020. Now other things have changed, but your capacity to be able to operate your lights from your phone has been there the whole entire time. In Newmar, that was a big change in 2023. With Renegade, it's been out since 2020. So if you're looking for those technological connection features, you don't have to have the switch above your bed because you've got also the capacity on your phone. Now with your nice storage areas, we've of course got our reading lights. Something that we've always had in the Renegade product line since I owned mine in 2020 is the really nice day and night shade systems. We've also had these Samsung flat screen 43-inch TVs. The configuration of the bedroom areas has changed from a cabinet standpoint. In the 2025 models, now you'll find in the 24s that you've got an extra drawer set. You may have traditionally had 2 wardrobes and a few less drawers. I do think that more drawers are more better. I'm sure that you're all gonna put comments and how I need to take my grammar lessons. I said it on purpose, I think it's funny. But seriously, it's more better because at the end of the day, you can put a ton of underwear, socks, shoes, all the things that you need to in these cabinets. I like this is a great place to keep all your flip-flops and hiking boots. And then anything that you have a little bit bigger, you can keep here in this large cubby here. In 2022, we stopped putting our, I'm sorry, in 2024, we stopped putting our, what do you call them? DVRs? Yeah, Blu-ray players. We stopped putting Blu-ray players in. And the reason that is because nowadays, in 2025, you can order a coach like this with Starlink factory installed. I can factory install Starlink onto any RV. So you don't have to have it as an option on the coach. But it wasn't around back then, so we always had our Blu-ray players and people were using Wi-Fi systems more frequently to get their connectivity. I'd still encourage you, it's better to double up, have your Starlink and have some kind of Wi-Fi package. Renegade's always had a Wi-Fi package on top of their coaches. It's always been great, but if you want to add that Starlink, then you can have cellular-based Wi-Fi as well as satellite-based Wi-Fi. So again, one of the reasons this is my favorite coach is for this reason right here. Washer and dryer in the bedroom, accessible while you're going down the road, and you can do all of your folding, all of your laundry and everything while you're driving. And I also like, and we've done this the whole time through, the separate stackable washer and dryer. The Salinity system is used widely throughout just about every coach that we sell here at Transwest. And we sell a lot of RVs. We've got Newmar, we've got Renegade, we've got Winnebago, we've got Prevost, we've got 27 North. So no lack of products here for sale, but most of them, if they have a washer and dryer, have a Splendide. And for anyone who's wondering, they work great. They're awesome. Another great feature of this coach, which has remained the same throughout, this is a 80-inch long bunk bed. So in Newmar, there's 72 inches. So one of the benefits you have in Renegade is if you have adults or you have littles, Marlon, why don't we trade places so you can get this other side? If you've got littles or you've got adults, you've got enough room, especially we all know that there's those folks that have like a 6'2" teenager. This would be plenty of room for them. You've also got a great amount of ventilation because you've got these opening windows here, optional televisions. You've got 110 and USB and Type-C interfaces for their phones and all of those things. And then lots of drawer space down here. You've got 2 large drawers and then 1 small drawer in this bunk model. And I think that, as you can see, they're so deep, there's so much room here. If you had adults that needed to sleep in this area, you could. Another great aspect of this coach is this. So having the ability to open and close this pocket door, get yourself some privacy from the kids, or using this as a dressing room is super awesome. And then the other benefit, of course, would be that if you would like to have this door closed in addition to this one, you can put the littles down early. Undo the snaps. So this snap technology, you want to show that, Marlon? This is also something that Renegade's done systematically throughout the production of this coach. It hasn't changed. And it's nice. It's super simple. You know when they're in place. But being able to close this door would allow you to let the kids go to bed early and you could stay up and play cards, whatever it might be. So, or maybe the kids stay up and play cards and you go to bed early, however it works in your household. Another thing that hasn't changed much, I should say, is the radius shower. Now, we did see a pretty significant upgrade in 2024 to this really nice white kind of marbled texture 35-inch radius shower, but it's the same shower. One big difference that you'll find though between 22 and 23 is that they put the faucet up higher now. It used to sit down a little bit lower, and they also changed it so it's actually a faucet that when you turn it on and off, you turn it like this. Where before it used to be one that you would pull out, so if it was down low and you sat against it, it would turn the water off. So this is nice. This normally, of course, is run through the hole here and then it goes into this little setting. They also added in 2023 a soap dish. I know it sounds like a small feature, but it's a really nice thing to have when you're on the road. And then, of course, you can always lock your children or your husband in the shower when they're misbehaving and they cannot escape. That has been since 2020. And then here in your cabinets, very similar, as I mentioned earlier, really nice solid maple cabinetry. These are all adjustable shelves, so that's super cool. It gives you the ability to put these wherever you like in terms of height. And then in the VBH, you have an extra cabinet over here, also very tall, as you can see, way up that way. You can put the Belvedere up there. If you're taking a bunch of kids camping, you probably need to bring vodka. No, I'm just kidding. Uh-oh, don't break it. There we go. So this is where you would keep your TP, of course, and your treatment. And then something that we've always done in the Renegade product line is down here on the left. This is the Santa Maria flush system. On the Numair product, you have to go up in line to get a different type of flush. This has both an eco and a full flush. Benefit here, of course, is that when you're trying to conserve gray water and black water space, you're always trying to have the least amount of water going into those areas. So having the ability to have a light flush as opposed to a full flush is going to conserve black water space for you. Something that we've had throughout this product line since 2020, 150 gallons of fresh water under the bed, inside the coach, helping to keep that center of gravity in the middle of the vehicle, also helping to keep it from freezing. We've always had the 110 heat pads on our two gray and black water tanks. The gray water and the black water tank have always been 75 gallons, and we've always had a 100 gallon fuel capacity. The other thing that's been consistent through this is 1,100 foot-pounds of torque. The thing that's changed is we've gone from 350 to 360 horsepower between, I think, 20 and 21. Really kind of a non-issue. Same L9, same Cummins chassis, same M2 106 chassis. Okay, so there's a big change here. One of the big changes is going to be that the M2 106 Plus chassis came out in 2024. So this 2024 has all of the same new componentry that you'd have in a 2025 because it has the new chassis, and it also has all the new wood colors and exterior and interior colors. So this going forward from 24 forward is really completely redone. In 2023, you got that new wood color, but you had the M2 106 chassis as opposed to the 106 Plus. And what really has changed about that is they've taken the Wabco distance-based cruise control, and Daimler contracted with Wabco to integrate that into something called the Detroit Assurance Package. So now you have a radar-based cruise control that is integrated into the chassis by the manufacturer as opposed to aftermarket by Renegade. Whew, that was hard to say. So again, that means Freightliner has the Detroit Assurance Package as an option on an M2 106 Plus chassis. Renegade, when they order the chassis from Freightliner, orders that chassis with that Detroit Assurance Package, whereas before in 2023 or earlier, you may not even have a distance-based cruise control or a lane tracking package, and if you did, it was installed by the manufacturer. The other thing that we integrated into the M2 106 Plus chassis is that there's a standard tire pressure monitoring system 2024 moving forward in that Plus chassis. One thing to keep note of, though, is that TPMS system is not expandable. So there's a very good chance that whether you buy a 23, a 24, or 25, you're going to end up with something like Tire Minder because you're going to want to be able to monitor your tow vehicle. I don't tow, I don't flat tow. I rent whenever I get to a destination where I might need a car, or I just bring my e-bike. So I don't really need a TPMS system that's expandable. But if that's important to you, it's just important to understand that even though it's standard on this chassis now, it's something you'll probably need to expand if you want to put it on your tow vehicle. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the bathroom, but when I do, I'm going to have Marlon just show you the fantastic fan. These rain sensing fans have been the same. Two air conditioners that are 15,000 BTU are the same. Ducted air conditioning with heat pumps, nice registers. All of that has been the same throughout. The solar panel option used to be, even in 2023, 3 175 watt panels. Now if you get solar panels from Renegade, you get 200 watt panels, but you'll still have a 3 panel option. And between 21 and 20, they took the handles off of the refrigerator, which I really like. So you see that you've got this nice flat front, so there's nothing for you to bunk your hip into. I still love this locking system. It's definitely my favorite out of everything that we have in all of the different RVs in the Super C segments, because honestly, it's the most clear that your doors are locked. And of course, having something fly open while you're driving down the road could result in a really big mess. So again, same refrigerator and freezer, just handleless versus handles. Tons of room in here, ice maker. And then again, that locking system is very clear. You can see when things are locked because it's red and it's blue when they're open. Some other nice features of the 40 VBH, tons of storage up here. We've got our, you know, control panels, or I'm sorry, our circuit breakers all here, very clearly labeled in the center of the coach, easy to access. They're in different locations throughout the RVs. They used to have a lot of them in the cabinet spaces. They've tried to move them over so they're not right in the middle of the kitchen now, which I think is nice. But again, as you can see, this Firefly system, I've got the mobile app up there just so you could take a look at it. The Firefly system has been the same throughout. Another thing that was added that made this a little bit better is that we used to only get this cup holder assembly in the LE models. Of course, this is a really handy thing going down the road. If you've got a place to keep your soda, a nice place to keep your AirPods, a nice place to charge your phone. Really cool to have a cup holder here. As I mentioned, we didn't have that before, but something that has stayed the same big sitting space. As you can see, very comfortable for 4 people. This converts into a booth, into a sleeper booth, so you could actually have littles sleeping here. The optional ottomans are pretty cool. We used to come standard with 2. Now it comes standard with 1. If you'd like to have a separate ottoman, you need to remember to order that. We've always had this great under booth storage. 2 seat belts facing forward, huge storage underneath on both sides. Another nice feature of this particular coach, and you'll want to look back because I don't know when they changed it, but there was some 36 VBHs that did not have the full length mirror here and some 40 VBHs that didn't have the full length. I'm not sure when that changed, but to be honest with you, it's a really important feature in your coach, in my opinion, to have a full length mirror to make sure that when you're leaving the house, you look like you get it all together. You know, you're not wearing 2 different shoes, just things like that that happen when you've been out by the bonfire too long the night before. Marlon's smiling, he knows what I'm talking about. Oh, there's the other cushion for the convertible booth dinette. Another great feature of this 12 feet of space has been the same with Renegade the entire time. As you can imagine, all the shoe boxes clearly labeled with the label maker alphabetically will allow you to store a ton of stuff. You can have one that has, you know, O for outdoor supplies, B for batteries and flashlights. You know, just put them all in boxes all up top alphabetically. Tons of consistent storage where you can buy 1 container that you can switch in and out with stuff that you need. A few things that have changed. I really like the new furniture set that you'll find in here. A little more tufted, a little more comfortable. Definitely a little more posh than the previous years. And the same trifold bed. So this is something that we've done the entire time. Really nice, super comfortable, easy to execute. But again, just a little more padding. You'll still have the same seatbelt configurations underneath here as well. So you're gonna have a total of 3 seatbelts underneath. And then this just slides into place. And as you can see here, very, very comfortable, very nice, very roomy queen size bed for your couch. Of course, there is the optional recliner setup as well, but we'll see that most folks do order the couches in these 40 VBHs because typically if you've got 2 or 3 littles, you could have another one up here, and then your kids, and then the grandparents in the back, or maybe you just got a lot of guys want to go play paintball or something. Whatever it is, just the more sleeping areas, the better. And this is a lot of sleeping area in this coach. Now, I went back to look, and it's funny because I had to pull a bunch of different window stickers to do this to make sure I was getting it right. So Lakewood was introduced in 2023, but in 2022 and in 2021, we had battery bunk over cab. Also, which I thought was interesting, is the lithium battery upgrade package has remained almost the same price and been available in the Renegade product since 2021. That makes it one of the first manufacturers to actually start using lithium in the coach. Now these are of course still optional. You can still get an AGM battery set. I have AGMs on my Superstar. I have a 2022 Superstar. It's not even optional for me to get a a lithium set of batteries on my Superstar. Newmar doesn't offer that to me in 2024. In 2025 and 2026, I would imagine you'll be able to order lithium on just about anything. But again, I was pretty impressed with the fact that you could get that lithium ion battery set all the way back in 2021. And all that means to you is that you've got a manufacturer that's consistently offered a technology and that it's refined, they know what they're doing with it, and they've done it for a long time. It's well executed. Kitchen layout here, tons of great door space. As you can see, all full extension, all soft close. The whole time we've always had this really nice true induction cooktop. It's sunk so it doesn't intrude into the counter space when the covers are on. And keep in mind, one of the safety features with this is that you could boil a pot of water on this cooktop with a paper towel underneath the pot and it would not catch on fire. That's a huge safety feature for anyone who's camping with cats, because I know kitty cats like to get up on countertops and knock things like paper towels over, or kids. So if you're looking for something that's going to have better cooking space without the risk of fire, the induction cooktops are not only good for that, but they're also good because at altitude, you set these according to a temperature, 1 through 5, or Fahrenheit, for instance, like 360 is the right temperature for fried eggs, in my opinion. I can set this to 360 degrees at any altitude and it will always be 360 degrees because it's not combustible. It's not dependent on how much oxygen is available at that altitude. The high point microwave and convection oven has been in here the whole time. I always remember people going, well, when did they go to high point? They've always been at a high point. When will they leave high point? They haven't. It's a great microwave, works great. We have very few complaints with them and we've had them in there forever. Tons of space up here, as you can see. Great place for a coffee maker and a crock pot. So that would be a really nice thing that you could have in this coach. Air fryer maybe. I know that those are all real popular. And then tons of cabinet space up here as well. And then Renegade's always done this great little access point in their Veronas where you could access, you get your coffee cups over there so they're easy to reach, or water bottles, whatever it might be. This is a fixed shelf that's not adjustable. I wish it was adjustable. I think that'd be cool, but hey, they do a really good job otherwise. Nothing wrong with that. Adjustable shelves are just nice because I know we all have that like one favorite glass that doesn't fit on the bottom shelf. And I'm vertically challenged. A big change for us, we left the, we used to have this really cool ceramic sink, but honestly, stainless steel is so much easier to take care of. Doesn't stain, always looks, you know, this is just a very nice deep basin stainless steel undermount sink. That was a change for the Renegade product. So again, when you're out there in the market looking for things, I had a guy who called me the other day. He's like, yeah, I found this 2022 and they're giving it to me for a really good deal. And I was like, wow, that sale price is like $9,000 less than when the guy bought it new. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. I said, it's not like a really great deal. These Renegades hold their value. So great news there. Great news on something like this though. This is a 2024. I'm trying to get into the point where I'm going to be able to start ordering 2026s. You want a deal? Give me a call. If I've got something on the ground here, I promise you it's worth looking at before you pull the trigger on a used coach. Needless to say, that was an easy deal to make. We made that deal pretty simply. But yeah, if you are in the market for a nice Renegade product before you buy a used one, call me up and find out what the difference between the sale price and the advertised prices are. We have certain rules and regulations that are implemented by the manufacturer in terms of how we price stuff, so we cannot put our most aggressive price online all the time. Doesn't mean we don't have one, it just means you need to call to get it. Okay, underneath here, tons and tons of room here. I mean, if you've got pets and you need to bring dog food or anything like that, like you could bring some big bins, just a lot of storage space. Heck, if you do a crab boil, you keep your big old crab pots in there. Another huge drawer. Of course, this is so nice because it's right next to the cooktop. And then I love this. So this is a change for 2024. We didn't do this before, and I think it's so cool. So you take this little guy out, right? And of course, you can hang your washcloth there. But if you are having a party and you need an extra place for your margarita machine or your chips and dip, whatever it is that you might happen to have, you slide this into place and then drop this down, and you have this really cool wood cutting board and extendable island. Love this feature. Of course, this is a great place for pantry items. If you have like those XO boxes, you could put all the cereal in there and pretzels and, you know, potato chips. We don't leave anything in bags anymore. We make sure everything's sealed because mice do smell any kind of bread goods or potato chips, and they will try to get into your coach. But so this is a nice feature change. You know, before it was a cabinet that you could slide in and out, but of course this gives you a lot easier to get to the depth. And then again, that extra counter space is super awesome. Whoever came up with that was a genius. And then I love this feature here. So this trash can is a full-size, you know, kitchen-sized trash can. I would recommend a blue one for recycling to put outside, a black one for garbage to put outside, and then the silver one stays inside. Stack them when you go, separate them when you arrive. And then back here, you'll see our subwoofer is still underneath the sink where it has always been. So one of the things I would say has remained very consistent with Renegade throughout their manufacturing years, whenever there's an option to modify or enhance a product, they take it. Whenever there's an option to cut quality, to do things in a lesser fashion to save money, they don't. Renegade has put out a very consistent, very solid, very nice, high build quality the entire time I've represented the product. After 5 years of this, I've got over, I think I'm at 285 videos or something like that. So I've done a lot of reviews on a lot of different products. Every time I come into the 40 VBH, there's nothing in the market like this. There's no Super C at this price point with 1,150 foot-pounds of torque, 360 horsepower engine, 20,000 pound towing capacity, and 150 gallons of water that sleeps 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 people comfortably. I mean, this is pretty amazing. And in 2021, they came out with this bunk over cab. So what's interesting about this is you can see this isn't stowed position, but if you look underneath here, it's a nice solid surface here. If you have a bunch of little kids and they are going to be sleeping in your bunks, marshmallows melt, chocolate melts. Some things just can't be left outside underneath the coach. It's so nice to have this storage area up here where you could use bins, and then when you need it, you can expand these cushions, and you've got a ladder with a really nice skylight. All of the controls are up here for the kids, so they can retract or extend their shade from right here. They can control their lights. They've got a place to plug in their cell phones, charge their, you know, iPads, all up here in a little recessed bunk, and they have their own Insignia television. So this area up here is a total game changer, because regardless of whether or not you're buying this kid for people or this coach for people or for children, it's got a ton of extra space. And for those of you who haven't considered this, I know that we all look at this coach and go, oh, we don't have kids, we hate kids. Okay, you don't have to have kids. If you've got some fine furry friends and you need a place to put a dog bed, I mean, this is a great place to be able to pull this up. As you can see, nice soft line underneath. All you've got to do is get those crates in there, a nice dog bed, whatever it is, and your puppy could have its own place where it could be comfortable going down the road without you having to worry about, you know, tripping over your dog in the middle of the day. In fact, I actually have a client that traded in their 4061 Superstar for a 4065 because they have 2 Basset Hounds, and the Basset Hounds were like always underfoot. Well, the Basset Hounds love their bed now. They just hang out in their bed area. That's like their little den. So, you know, you don't have to have dogs or children to have a bunk model. The other thing to recommend that you take into account, if you are going to go to Alaska or any long trips and you want to have a few cases of water, you want to have a few bins that have all of your bread products, all of the storage stuff that you need for a long trip, you can have this whole entire area, and there's an insert available for this bunk that turns this into cabinets and puts a clothesline across. So you could have a whole extra closet space and all of your stuff for Canada or your dogs, extra closet space and gear. I mean, so this is a really nice dexterous area where you can use it for multiple uses. It doesn't have to be for children. So again, one of my very favorite products available on the market, and definitely one of the best values for dollar. Now, today, of course, we're looking at a Tundra exterior, which is white. I also have an all gray 2025 40 VBH that I would love to sell you. So if you want pricing on both, there's a difference in pricing. I'd be happy to give you an aggressive bid on both of them. In terms of options on this has the storage ottoman, as I mentioned, the washer dryer stack, the lithium ion batteries, the solar panels, the monitors in the bunks, the full length mud flap, and the cab over bunk. This also has the Amish racing wheels, also known as American X racing wheels. So we'll take a look at that when we go outside. But like most of these features have been available on this product, the biggest changes again are going to be the Lakewood interior cabinets, which I think are a really nice new modern update for this product. But product quality wise, Renegade tends to be absolutely the mainstay in the Super C segment. And there's nothing that competes against this product in this price point in a bunk model, especially from the quality standpoint. Samsung TV with a soundbar over the door, standard feature. In 2021, they added this little cover that drops down to give you a shade in the door. I didn't have that, so nice thing there. And then as I mentioned earlier, big changes are up here. So you can see these chairs are really nice. They're really tufted. They're super posh. They're heated. They're a different chair. I think when I started working here, we might have had flex steel. Honestly, we haven't had flex steel for a long time. It's been a long time. But really nice chairs. But the biggest change is going to be here in the dash. And I'm going to just be candid with you. There's some things I think that are great about this, and there's some things that are a little disappointing. I would like to see a second monitor. We do not have a dedicated monitor. We still have the Garmin system, which is fine. It's nice. You can take it off and put your data in, use it for your rear view camera. You still have the cameras that when you turn left or right, turn the cameras on so you can see down the side of you. We still have these big chrome convex mirrors that are power. They're heated. So these things have been the same, but I really was hoping when I got into this cab in 2024 that I would see a second monitor. So what I've been doing is using this place where you're supposed to put the CB, and I've been installing a dedicated Voyager system on most of my transactions. I think it's a really huge advantage. And then of course, they did really improve this cab. This is much nicer looking. It's got like this dark wood inlay to it, a little more modern, a little more current. They still give you a cigarette or holder, so you can make it a cup holder or whatever. But very similar Freightliner execution. All of the buttons moved over here, giving us room for our smart leveling system. So we've used this equalizer leveling system for our hydraulic shacks since 2020, so nothing's changed there. Now I'll tell you, when we get back into 2019, 18, and 17, we start going to non-hydronic coaches that are propane based. And at that point, you really need to reach out to me because there's a lot of differences, way too many 2019 and older for me to cover. Of course, that product now is 6 years old. So as you can imagine, a lot of technology has changed in those last 6 years. And also, I want you to, think about the fact that post-COVID, how did you get people to feel like, trading in their expensive coach that they paid a lot for a new one? What all the manufacturers did is they really upgraded the chassis. So one of the big features of this chassis that's changed is the steering wheel controls. So this is a really, really nice feature on this coach. The other big change that you see is that you've got a stock controlled Allison transmission, same Allison transmission, but your engine brake now is up and down, drive, neutral, and reverse are right here. And then you can go into your manual settings and still upshift and downshift. And they even have an eco setting here. So this steering wheel system is very different. The other thing that's different is right here. So Detroit Assurance 5.0. So as you can see, we're going to do the same thing. We wait for our check engine light to turn off before we start the coach, just to make sure that we're not going to get a malfunction that shows that we did a cold start. So now that we've got that done, you can see our digital dash here has got a little more information on it now. When we start it up, still sounds the same. Again, same Freightliner chassis in the M2 106 versus Plus, just some nice modifications in terms of technology. And then the way that it's wired is quite a bit different as well. Modular technologies allow them to plug and play different components at any place underneath the coach, as opposed to having to do it in just one location. But as I go through here, I can set, oh, you know what, here Marlon, if you want me to, let's just do all retract, there we go. I did it with my foot. Okay, so you can see we can go through here. We've got diagnostics, we've got our filter status, oil life. So just a nice difference in terms of our interface here. Really, like, not a big deal. I think all of us can suffer through an M2 106 dash. But it is definitely a nicer interface. But most importantly, the steering wheel controls keep your eyes on the road as opposed to having to reach over here to figure out what's going on the Garmin to turn your volume up and down and all that stuff. So all of this stuff here, like being able to turn off your lane tracking very easily with one touch of a button, is super nice. Hazards are better placed. We have the suspension dump that was added in 2022. So before that, you didn't have something that was like a button to dump your suspension. We could install one for you, but this is a standard feature moving forward from 2022 on. Same kind of dash configurations for air conditioning, still very rudimentary, very, kind of archaic, if you will. It's not an auto sensing or, thermostatically controlled. If you turn your heat on to 3 and you forget that it's on, you're just going to be up to like 96 in your cab. They have not given me a they have not given me a lipstick or lip gloss mirror yet, which is still very annoying. That thing still works. This one still sounds like this. I think that's so goofy. Ready? Doesn't even sound like a car one. All right, down here we still have our, I think that they made this standard as opposed to the optional brake controller. God, it's been for so long. But if you don't have a brake controller on your coach and you're going to go on a road trip, you'll have to install one. I learned that the hard way. My boyfriend was leaving for a trip on Sunday, and on Saturday he called me. He's like, "Where's the brake controller?" And I was like, "Honey, there's no brake controller." So I had to install a brake controller, but I did. Between myself and Mr. Brian Moritz, we were able to install a brake controller. Seats still swivel. You still have the curtains here that go the whole way around on the track. Again, like a lot of features on this coach are the same. The biggest changes for me are going to be the aesthetic between the spiced brandy and then the Lakewood, which again starts between 22 and 23. And then from a structural standpoint, Freightliner doesn't reinvent their chassis very often, but in order for them to become current, things like having this Detroit Assurance package with the distance-based cruise control, and then the lane tracking package, the Mobileye, and then the tire pressure monitoring systems, they had to do those things to become current with the rest of the world because everybody has those things now. So that's a pretty significant thing. In terms of how this coach is assembled, when Freightliner went to this modular construction where you could put an ECM in, a panel right where Marlin's standing or in the back of the coach, depending on where you needed to have it located, the RV industry had already kind of figured out how to get things wired from here to there. So I don't think it's a huge deal. It definitely probably made things a lot easier on the manufacturing process moving forward for them to design stuff because they didn't have to figure out how to wire things a long distance. But again, the structural change on this coach, I don't think you'll see any big modifications moving forward for the M2 106 Plus chassis for quite a long time. You can go ahead and hop out, Marlon. I'm going to meet you outside of this door. So we're going to talk about exits and entries. Something I really like that Renegade does is this black step here. So as you can see, it's a nice dark step. They got away from doing the chrome. Newmar is still doing grip tape here, which is what I have. I really think that this is a much nicer step system. And as you can see, when I'm getting out of the coach here, I have a number of different grab handles. So I have places where I can get in and out really easily throughout the coach, right? So lots of room here. Down here, you're gonna see I talked about those that 100-gallon fuel capacity. You've got saddle tanks, so you've got two 50-gallon tanks that are going to give you your fill on both sides. Your DEF is still 6 gallons. It's on the other side, so driver's side is of course easiest since it's a light amount of DEF. Benefit of that, DEF goes bad. So not having a whole lot of DEF in there, if you're gonna get to the end of your season and you're not gonna take your coach out for another 6 months, don't fill up your DEF. Let it run down. But the benefit of having, of course, dual fills that you can fill in half the time. And keep in mind, your 150-gallon of water is also two 75-gallon tanks. So that's, Renegade does a really good job at breaking things down and making it easy to fill. One thing they did do is in 2023, they went to the sea leveling system, so your tank levels are way more accurate than they were in 2020 when I had mine. You'll still see that Cummins engine. Again, that's the L9 8.9 liter Cummins engine. That engine is the same engine that's been in here since 2020, and heck, it's been the same engine since 2017, like a long time now. And then the Freightliner chassis, of course, is all black. I love the question, what kind of air suspension do I have in the front? You've got a spring leaf front suspension. Nothing has changed here. Spring leaf, front end suspension, easy to access, medium duty semi truck. You got your cameras right here. Renegade's always done a really nice job. You can't even see this diamond shield, like it's really almost invisible. They hand cut all of these at the factory. Again, the Amish racing wheels, we talked about this briefly on the inside. Great look, totally optional. And they will change from year to year. They have different like patterns that come out. And if you want to order one that has the aluminum, you're welcome to do that. We can always add these for you. Keep in mind, so one of the benefits of buying, not only because of the sheer breadth and size, I don't know if you can just pan around here. There's an LE moving right there. Now that's a force. But anyway, so this is a huge organization, right? But one of the main benefits is that we have a chassis shop on site here. So you're not going to just get your house service here. You can also get your chassis service. And if you're buying a new coach, a majority of the places that you're shopping do not have on-site chassis service. So they're not doing a chassis PDI and they're not doing an alignment for you before you pick up your coach. Here at Transwest, we do a full-fledged house and a full-fledged chassis PDI. We road test the vehicle. We have an alignment rack. We have technicians that are Daimler Elite certified. So what that means is these guys are working on all sorts of rigs, shapes and sizes. They're very, very talented and they can diagnose things really quickly. And when they're doing those PDIs, if there's any kind of issues, we can find those before you take delivery of your RV here as opposed to after you've been on the road. Okay, so same step systems. In the LE, you start moving into where you have the little number code on the door. On the Verona, you don't have it. We've got the same 16-foot long awning. I wonder if I should, let's just do that real quick while I'm looking for this. I'll show you storage underneath. One thing that we did do is we homogenized this bay. So now instead of having two segmented bays, we have a single bay that actually allows you to put really long and big objects in it. And you'll see that there's a grommet here in the center. So you can get the cord for your margarita machine plugged in. So while you're out there with your friends watching TV, you can do that. I'm not sure exactly what button I'm holding right now, but it's working, so I'm gonna go ahead and just keep holding it. It's pretty windy. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's not gonna let me put the awning all the way out. But hey, let's see, I'll try it one more time. I have a really hard time getting these to go out during videos. But again, here's your awning. There's my control right here on my phone. A little gusty, so it's gonna wanna go back in because it's got a bounce sensor. Same 43-inch Samsung TV. Nice sound bar here. We also have the USB plugs right here to charge your phone. I know a lot of people are like, I have to have a Type-C. You have to buy an adapter. I'm sorry. This coach does not have a Type-C outside. Hey, listen, if you don't get the TV, you don't even get a plug for your phone, so it's nice to be able to charge it somehow, right? These are your slide locks, and that's your air hose. You've always been able to use your air chuck to air up your tires, your inflatable, like a paddleboard, whatever you like. And then these safe locks go out when your slides are stowed in so that they don't leak while they're driving. I never used mine. Don't tell my rep. I'm sure I get put in the naughty spot. I spend a lot of time in the naughty spot, so it's okay. All right, so here underneath, another huge storage compartment. Something that Renegade's always done is this double latch system on these doors. So as you can see, super rugged, nice, secure, good latching system. Something Renegade's been known for the entire time. All four of these rear wheels, again, look like they have the American X Racing wheels, but it's just the two on the outside that you need. And there is an extendable valve cap right there. Someone was telling me the other day that there's actually a system that will take the air that you have and balance it between all four of your rear tires. So I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm gonna read up on that. It sounds pretty fascinating to me, but that's kind of cool. I've never really had any issues with mine. I know that people that are into their maintenance really like to check their tire pressure and all that. I just have the store do it before I take it out on the road. Benefits of working for Transwest. Service is just one step away. Okay, so last cubby on this side, of course, parties in the front, business is in the back, but Renegade does do a great job at giving you space on both sides of the coach. One thing I want to show you that has been consistent, these slides, as you can see, are not running on any kind of weird cable system. They're super, super rigorous. I have heard so many people with DX3 slide issues. I have not had slide issues. I had one client that had some slide issues. I want to say that I think it might have been operator error more than anything else. But all of that being said, super bulletproof slides as far as I'm concerned. Again, you've got the 20,000 pound tow capacity back here, which is super nice. And one of the things that's really cool about this coach is I can go ahead and again, from outside of this coach, and this has been the whole time that I've worked for Renegade, they had this Firefly app. In fact, my sales guy didn't know how it worked when I bought my RV, and I was like, is there an app for this coach? And he's like, I don't know, I've never tried it before. And I was like, holy mackerel, because this is the coolest thing ever. If you're pulling into a campsite and you want to make sure you're not going to hit a tree, that's pretty handy, I think. This coach is pre-wired for your Voyager camera system. So if you did get that second dedicated monitor, you could also have it wired through so you can see your tow vehicle or inside of a race trailer if you've got one of those. 7-pin connector standard. So is the brake controller, as we mentioned earlier. Mud flap is optional, always has been. Surge protector, and your power cord reel has always been power on a Renegade Verona as long as I've known, which is a really good feature. It's 36 feet, but they put them in the back. I have a 50-foot cord, but it's all the way in the front of my 40-foot coach. So I really have like a 10-foot cord. This is way better. 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator by Onan. Nothing has changed. You can start it from the inside, start it from the outside, or start it from your phone. Once again, very cool feature. This is for your gravity hose. I would recommend, we carry a Gorilla hose here. We've got a really nice parts department that only carries high-end stuff. The reason I recommend the Gorilla hose is because it's got 2 segments, and it's a 20-foot hose that comes in 2-foot, 10-foot segments, and they're identical, and it has a clear elbow. I like it because if you get a hole in your hose and you have an extra half of your hose in your coach, then you don't have to worry about having a gross hose to deal with. And if you need a longer hose, you also have the second half, which is handy. So like that. I love to see a flow jet system on a Verona. Sorry, you've got to buy an LE. In 2025, that water filter housing will be clear. You can get a clear one now. There's that sea level tank monitoring system we were talking about. Also very nice, again, much more accurate. I remember hearing people in 2021 talking about how inaccurate the system was, and I was like, I know, I have one. And they were all going to sea level and doing it aftermarket. Renegade heard that and they were like, we could just do this for you, which is what they did. This is gonna be your heat pads on your, look how fast that is. Okay, the hydraulic slide, that's new for 2024. Look at that, whoa! That's like a little bunny. It's just hopping right in there. But yeah, so your heated tanks are there. And then this is more of them. This is again your gray and black tanks. So 75 gallons each, that's a lot of poop. And then this is a difference we can talk about. So first of all, we've always put our overflow for our hydronic fluid in a horrible location that's hard to get to. That has never changed. Yay! Marlon's our technologist. He's also the video guy today, and I know he's familiar with having to show people how to fill that, and it's just not fun. You need a turkey baster for all intents and purposes. Big change though, this AquaHot 250D, although it is called the same thing, it is not the same beast. The first gen had a lot of problems, so when you read about these things online, understand if you're looking at a first gen AquaHot system, if the coach has really low miles on it, you really have to make sure you've gotten that tested before you buy that coach pre-owned, because that system could be really problematic. All of that being said, it could be that it's already been worked through and it's fine. The third gen is what we're on now. Much better, fixed a lot of things. I had an AquaHot issue for like the first 6 months of my coach where my thermostats kept going out. Again, Gen 1 versus Gen 3, really big difference. If you're buying a pre-owned coach and you're not getting that inspected and running it for a few hours, so that means running your heat hydronically. Of course, this coach has your two 15,000 BTU air conditioners on top with heat pumps, but your predominant source of heat when you're boondocking or even when it's just really cold is going to be your hydronic heat. That is your tankless hot water heater, heating up that line of antifreeze, which we saw in that little overflow compartment, pushing it around the exterior of the coach, and then having air registers blowing warm air into the coach. You need to do that for like 5 or 6 hours to test that unit to make sure that it doesn't fault out. You also need to run your shower for 25 to 30 minutes on hot to make sure that it doesn't fault out. If you're gonna buy a pre-owned coach, understand that that hydronic system is something that you really wanna make sure has been tested. I definitely would recommend buying a pre-owned coach through a dealership. A lot of these expenses are hidden until after you take delivery and they're costly. So if it's working though, it's working and that's great. Another storage area, as I mentioned, parties usually in the front, business is usually in the back. I guess you could keep your guns in here then. I don't know, it doesn't lock, so probably a bad idea. Fireworks maybe, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so cool area. And then again, this Dragonfly system is something that you've been able to get. These are going to be 100 amp hour batteries. So these are 300 amp hours of batteries in lithium. They have built-in heaters. You can actually monitor them from your app. Then you've got your two chassis batteries right here on the left. And again, when you move into these higher level coaches, like if you're at the LE, you're looking at 270 amp hour batteries, not 100 amp hour batteries. So just be careful when you're shopping to make sure that just because it says it's lithium, not all things are created equal. Here's that DEF point right there. So again, 6-gallon DEF tank, 100-gallon fuel tank. Nice feature for 2024 with the M2 106 Plus chassis. You've got a little pull down here to do your adjustable telescopic wheel. Your diagnostic plugs in right here, so you've got easy diagnostic into your coach. Your engine block heater still plugs in right there. Nothing really has changed there. Still pre-wired for your Cobra CB system. And again, still great access here. Jump points remain in the same place right here next to the driver's side. For your chassis batteries, you wouldn't jump them in the cabinet, you jump them over here if your chassis battery was dead. Oh, and the on-off button changed. It used to be like this dial and the sticker would always pull up, which was really embarrassing because you're like, I don't know why it's doing that. But now it's a button. So the button always looks good. Speaking of looking good, gosh darn it, Marlon, you're looking good today. So nice to have Marlon here. Marlon's our delivery technologist now. He has been promoted. He does not do videos very often. Another thing that looks great is this 2024 Renegade Verona 40 VBH. This is stock number 5N240722. Again, 5N240722. Yeah, my name's Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trail RV. Don't go away so fast, buddy. Make sure you got my phone number there. Call me, text me, let me know how I can help get you on the road and camping. Thanks for tuning in.